Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, there we are. Yay. Alrighty, so I think we should be live now. Hello and welcome. Let me turn on my other camera here. So what we are working on this week is going to be some Marvel Crisis Protocol and some little Necron warriors. Alrighty, I'm gonna close this out so I don't keep looking over there. And get myself some music going. And we will get started. What do I want to listen to? Okay. So with the crisis protocol stuff, I got this a couple of years ago as a gift, and I never actually painted all of it. So I'm really looking forward to doing this. I'm actually pulling up now just some reference photos. It's always best to have those, especially when you have a look or a feel in mind. Alrighty, so what do we got here? Let's see where I left this. So currently the box looks like this. I even went through the trouble of adding some foam and custom little, what would you call this? A setup for the figures themselves. And it looks like I've already painted up Baron Zemo, Captain Marvel, and ooh, he looks pretty nice. Looks like I already got Red Skull going here. Pull that up. Yeah. It's a little bright. Yeah. So hopefully we can catch the same kind of vibe on this guy. Do. Yeah. So, looks like I got Crossbones, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, just all the things that came in here. So, where do I want to start? Maybe start with this one of these dumpsters now. Do something fun. We'll start with let's do Crossbones. Actually, I already started him. We'll do something from scratch here. Captain America. Yeah, we'll do some Captain America. Alright. I'm gonna kick that. I set that there. Let's set it over here. And this is for another project. I'm just gonna get it cleared off my desk here. Alrighty. The start streaming button. And I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but then it immediately started my stream, so I didn't have all my stuff set up. I thought that there would be a second confirmation that I had to go through. So, everyone has to bear with me. Actually, I don't think anyone's even watching right now. Yeah, I have no viewers right now, so I'm less concerned about this. Here we go. Put some water in here. Let's see here. Red, white, and blue. Captain America. Okay. So I'm pulling up the box art for the model, just so I have some reference for colors. Okay. Now, this guy was primed in white. It looks like I decided to prime in white rather than a black undercoat. I'm just gonna stick with that, I think. And we'll see how we go. Get him on a little base here. Alrighty, and then we'll get this adjusted so you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. Alrighty, so we got the Captain America here with, he's mostly blue. So I think I might start with hitting some of the blue areas with our dark blue. And move on from there. In the meantime, drag this over there. There's our reference photos. And grab our palette. Okay, dark blue. Actually, let's start with a Army Painter deep blue. Base coating brush here. This up a little bit. There. Army Painters, War Paints, deep blue. And the reason we're going to start with the deep blue is because I think it's not going to be as bright as our brightest shades, and it's not going to be, oh, I need to move that. I was wondering when my lighting was like all off. So this is going to cause horrible glare. It will for just a second. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Alrighty, now I have a little bit more light. Alrighty, so thin that down a little bit, and we'll go ahead and get started. His boots are going to be red, so we'll just start coloring in the lines here. Looks like I didn't do the mold lines on this guy either, but that's fine. This is for skirmish miniature game that I don't even think I play. Or that I know, well, I know I don't play it, but I don't think I'm going to ever play it. Just due to lack of interest in my area. I hope everyone's having a really good hobby week. I am having a phenomenal hobby week. I made some really good progress on a couple of big projects that I had. And had an electrician in today to hopefully get me some more outlets in this basement. Because as of right now, I do not have enough, and I have some extension cords going all around the place. It's a little too thin. Paint's a little bit thin. We'll just do 2 coats. And we're just going through, getting this as a very nice mid-tone. This is part of the reason why I'm not a huge fan of priming things in white. My guess is that my plan had been to use just contrast paints on it, but which I guess we still could do if we struggle with this. But I'll give it how thin our paint is right now. It's kind of like we're using a contrast paint. Contrast paint, for anyone that's unfamiliar, is a thinned down version of a paint, specific product made by a company called Games Workshop in their Citadel color line. It's designed to make attaining highlights and shadows very easily on your product, since it is specially designed to flow into crevices and skim over and remain thin on the raised areas. Really cool product. It's kind of like cheat codes for painting, although they can be a little bit of a crutch. So for the most part, unless you're very specifically using them for something, they are usually best used as a either a filter or a shader. Although you'll see here in a bit something that we're going to use them for over metallics. Oh yeah, here's the other thing we're painting tonight. Necron Warrior. We're going to give him a we might give him another base coat. It looks like the spray didn't really hit him very well. We're painting that tonight too, and you'll see what we do with that. Really cool, the stuff that you can do with the contrast paints over metallics, because they are translucent. There we go. My paint's starting to actually do its thing now. But yeah, I had a pretty good hobby week. Let's see, I got a lot of really good recording done. I accidentally deleted some footage, then re-recorded it, but I actually knew what I was doing the second time, so that was pretty good. And I think hopefully this time next week I'll have the project done, and very soon after we'll have my next video posted up on the channel for everyone to check out. Talked to a couple people about potential commission projects for them. Nothing cemented down just yet. For the most part, right now with everyone in quarantine, or from home or whatever, or working from home, everyone has so much free time that I'm pretty confident that most people are able to paint their own miniatures that they want painted, or they're not playing games and buying new stuff at their local store as much, making those impulse buys that they aren't going to get to. Okay. We're kind of going through and just doing Another coat over some of the spots that are already dry. Oh, the reason I do not like a white undercoat as opposed to a black one is fairly obvious for many people that paint miniatures. Is if you miss a spot, it's super obvious that you miss a spot. Whereas a black one, and thinking of the spots that you normally miss, it'd be something like in a hidden corner of the model or like an awkward angle. And if you undercoated it in black, it just looks like a shadow, which makes sense considering we weren't really able to get to it easily with a brush. But if it's white, it really sticks out. Okay. This could have been a little bit cleaner, but I'm having a little bit of a shaky hand day, so we'll call that there. And then let's go on to the next part that's going to be blue, which is, looks like his top section here of his armor. And all this, minus the straps here. We can come and tidy up things like this star, but the more careful we are now, the less we have to tidy up in our bed. So we're using a brush here with a really good tip. Making sure we maintain a good tip on it. And adjusting our angle. If you have shaky hands like I do, best thing you can do for yourself is just change your angle so that you don't always have to have incredible precision with your brush. It's very easy in certain angles to maintain that control. There's that. Thin again. Alright, I'm having a lot of issues with this blue. Let me try this again. Maybe I didn't shake it up enough. Put it on the palette here again. Alright, that's a little bit better. And then we're going to carefully get this line here. Making sure we get all the way up to the details adjacent to it. It's okay if we go a little bit out of the line here. We have a lot more layers to clean things up. The last thing you want to do is have a spot that you haven't gotten with any paint. Alright, I'm gonna go back through here. His leg. And on these larger, flatter areas, like the top of his leg here, we're just gonna go ahead and get another layer here. So a little bit less white is showing through. Yes, this is a cool little game. It's what you would call a skirmish game in that so you don't build an army of people, you just build a small squad, maybe five, maybe like somewhere between like 3 and 10 people, and then your opponent does the same. And so rather than having to paint like a whole gigantic army, think of it just like your ward leaders getting together and going at it. People like Captain America, Spider-Man, Ultron, Doc Ock. Those are some of the characters that we have. Let me see. Do we have anyone watching right now? Yes. Okay. It's almost blue, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's his nose. I thought he had a blue nose for a minute. I will say the helmet here could leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of detail on it. But that's fine. All of these Fantasy Flight models in the Crisis Protocol set kind of are in that same boat, in that there isn't just like a ton of detail in them, or whatever it is. It gets like so easily obscured. But we are almost done with this base coat of blue. And there we go. We got the base coat of blue down. Except for one spot there. There's eye here. This underneath section here, those pants, just trying to get the colors to do what I want them to do here. Okay. Stop messing with that for a minute. Do I have any other blue to do? Looks like there's a little bit on his shield here. Let me switch brushes. This one's splitting in a weird way. And what we're aiming to do here is just the area around the star, the center here. Just one of these circles. We'll just go around and do that here. Okay. And then I guess this would be blue as well in the back here. This little part. His shoulders blue? Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Looks like this Avengers is these shoulder areas need to be blue as well. That's I don't need to be, I guess. And the reference photo that I liked, they're blue, and I'm not a super creative person, so I usually like to follow some kind of outline, scheme, plan. Prime example of what I was talking about earlier with the black undercoat. That gap right there in the shoulder, you can actually see into it. And it's hard to get a brush done in there. So if we had that black undercoat, that would be much easier. But that's okay. We make do with what we have here today. Okay. Alright, now we are actually done with our blue base coat here. Okay. Alrighty, it's looking pretty good. And now I'm going to go ahead and go over to this contrast Talisar blue. Use it as a shader down into all these recesses and details, and hopefully make this look just a little bit better. You can see there, a little bit too much there in that one spot, but we'll come back and fix that. Just kind of move it all around the model here, letting it settle into the details. And then there. And there we have what the bottom pants look like here after adding that wash on there. Look a lot better. Look at America's ass. Pay more attention to this leg here. Alright, now we're going to use this same technique here. We're going to get a slightly smaller brush because we're going to go into more precise areas. And we're going to do the same thing here at the top. what's actually happening there is the shader is kind of filtering everything down, so it's about the same universal tonality of blue here. So if we really wanted to push this, we could paint a bunch of different shades of whites and blues, and as long as they are brighter than this darker blue, it'll filter right on down. Oh, actually, I tell you what, everybody, I'm actually going to take a quick 5, and I'm going to get myself some tea here. I don't think I have too many people here, and I do apologize for that. But I'm feeling a little bit parched, and I'm going to get a drink. I'll be right back. Alrighty, cool. So, I'll have tea here in a few minutes. That's awesome. A little bit of caffeine. But in the meantime, we have Captain America to keep us going. What does it say? Let's talk about filtering colors of paint. Yeah, so we've really pushed the idea of filtering color to its limit. We can do some really cool stuff. I'm just going to paint over 0 for now. As you can see, we're not really being too crazy careful because everything else around here we're going to base coat in a dark shade. So I don't need to be super careful. There we go. There aren't really any highlights and shadows on the blue part of his shield, so I'm just going to use this blue to tidy up this edge of the circle. Okay, cool. There we go. There we have now Captain America. We'll add some highlights here in a bit. We'll do this after we do some other parts. And next, we're going to move on to the red. For that red, I'm going to use the contrast Blood Angels red on this feet here, and we're going to highlight a dry brush of orange. Alright, 1 foot done. Now we're going to do this other one here. Alrighty. Okay. And there we go, we got some boots. What was the name of that video game that was out recently where they had the rocket boots? Or jet boots or something. I don't remember. Okay. Okay. So next up, we're gonna do his gloves. And I'm gonna just do one glove at a time here. Get this base coat of red down. Alrighty. There is one of those done. And we'll go in here and do his other glove underneath here. My wonderful wife brought me tea, because she is the best. Okay. Yeah, that's enough of that. Oh, I guess there's, looks like they alternate red and white down here with these sections, but I can't even see the definition between the sections here. I might do something. I might just extend the blue of his outfit all the way down. Like that. Because I can't even see that. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. I genuinely can't even see the difference in those lines there. It looks really neat on their box art, but I ain't got time for that. Oof. Cool. And now for his shield here, we're not going to use a contrast paint for that because it'll pull up for the words. So we're going to use a Some dragon red. Actually, somebody just texted me. I think your audio is going through your camera, not your headset. Sounds funny. Okay. Well, there's a quick way to test that. Yeah, it's 100% coming through my camera and not my headset. Good catch. Thank you. So we're actually going to kill that.
Test. Oh, yeah, that's much better. Thank you. Yep. Okay, that is much better. So we're going to grab a detail brush here. And some of the red here. Although I don't think there's a filter on this. Wait, one sec. I'm going to add a sound suppression on this. Okay. That should be a little bit better. That might have been too much. Uh-oh. Did I just mess up all of my audio? Oh, I'll bend your mic back towards your face. Yes, yes, of course. There we go. Alrighty, so for the red on the shield, what we're going to do is we're just going to use a bright red here and a detail brush, and ever so carefully and gently just go along the outside here. This isn't bright enough, I can already tell. It's a little too dark. So we're going to grab a brighter red here. Pure red. Seems bright. Yeah, this bright red should be a little bit redder. Yeah, that's much more what we're looking for, almost an orange. America, fuck yeah. Much better. Thin that down a little bit. And now it's starting to look like Captain America. then we're going to do this circle as well. Just being careful. And we can tidy this up here in a second once everything dries and settles. Alrighty. And then for a final little touch here, we're going to grab, sorry. So this is what we're currently looking at. That shield. Looks a little bit messy, but we're going to add something here. It's going to really hopefully lighten that up. And that is just going to trace those rings here with a little bit of just acrylic ink. Don't need a lot there. Gotta grab our super tiny brush. That's not even my super tiny brush. There we go. There's my super tiny brush. And hopefully our hands are up to the task today. If not, I can just get this cleaned up another day. But we're gonna get just the tiniest little bit of it there. It's gonna dry very quickly, so we're gonna have to work in tiny little segments here. And if you end up messing up a little bit like I just did there, no reason to fret. We can fix this. We'll tidy it up here. Oof, that's pretty messy. We got this. Never give up. Once we've etched these lines in, we can clean this up. Until then, we just gotta keep going. Wow. Okay, so this definitely could have been cleaner, but so we're gonna have our work cut out for us with tidying this up. But as you can see there, it does stand out a lot better. And you can see the number of times that we goofed up, but that's fine. So we're gonna go ahead, switch back over to. Ugh. I hate this brush sometimes. Okay. Switch back over to our small detail brush, and we're gonna go clean up those red areas, and then we have this, which is a color match for the base coat I believe I used. Okay, so we'll start by cleaning up these red areas. We're not trying to perfectly fix everything. We're just trying to get some of the worst areas corrected here. Otherwise, we will be here all day going back and forth. Oh, it looks like we are going to get another person here, a local store in the Mason, Ohio area by the name of Mavericks. Just assembled their crisis protocol set. So we'll get to see if ours is as good as the stores. No, I'm just kidding. So local stores, when they demo a game like this, normally the company doesn't send them, obviously, a professionally painted one. They just paint it themselves. Which makes sense when you think about it, but yeah, so I might see if they're interested in taking my half of my box as well, because I don't think anyone wants to play this game with me. All right, so we've tidied up the red a little bit. There's still a couple spots here, like right there, where ink definitely got away from us, and up here on the top. And now we'll go to tidying up this blue. Oh, hell nah. So, oops. There's an issue with having everything a little bit too wet here. Is the moment it touched my brush full of paint to this, just kind of bled everywhere. It's always best to see. So if you like look at this, like just on your skin here, if you see that it starts to bleed into all the cracks of your skin, your paint, it's going to do the same exact thing when you put it on your model. So if you have issues with your paint being a little bit too wet, like I do sometimes, always best to check that. All right. Okay. And then for these white sections, we're going to touch them up with just a little bit of this. This is actually gray sear. It's not even of white. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Over thinning paints is something I'm really bad at doing. Because I want to make everything into almost a wash. Because I love that. And we just messed up our ink a little bit, so we're going to try and touch that up. So like I said, you can do this all day long, especially in fine details like this, but we're just going to try and get this to a spot where it isn't super obvious what we got going on. Oh. Oh, I guess I also have Discord right here. Alrighty, so now we're almost done here. I'm going to have just the last little bit here on the shield. Since we're covering up black, I think this blue might take a couple layers because this was a spot that really got out of hand. And then we're gonna touch up the blue on the logo here on the star. Okay, that's way too thin. That's super odd. So I'm gonna get some more of this actually, and put that on my palette. Oops. And since we have some that's too thick and some that's too thin, I'm just gonna like leave this one for now. Okay. Let's see, is this gonna work better for us, touching up these spots? Yeah, there we go. Straight from the pot. No, I'm just kidding. It's going right onto a wet palette on a brush that's pretty damp. There we go. We're just tidying up our star here. Okay. Alright, so here's what we're looking at now. Captain America. So I have that shield looking really nice. And then here's him as a whole. Getting there. Getting there. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to do the red here on this Avengers logo. And again, that is we're using the pure red from Army Painters. This might take a couple layers, but I'm really feeling this comic book vibe tonight. I might not do that Necron Warrior Might just do some of these guys. Okay. So, looking at it, they actually have like blue poking through on this A, but I can't see myself realistically being able to do that. So I'm actually just going to tidy up this part up here. And we're going to cheat. We're going to use this Griff Charger gray, which is like a little bit of a bluish gray. And we're just going to get it down in these details here. Just to bring out that detail. And in fact, we're actually going to use the same Griff Charger gray over all of the white areas of the model. Maybe not. We might end up using dark tone. Like his arms there, we're going to actually use dark tone. Because it's easier to come back from this than it is the Griff Charger. Alright, so I'm going to take this dark tone by Army Painter. It's a quick shade. I'm going to grab one of our shade brushes here. And the reason I have specific brushes for this is because, again, it will sink down into the ferrules of my brush and kind of ruin them. But we're going to just get this in here like this. Whoa. And this is a little darker than I would want. But I'm just going to try and stop it from pulling up here. We can lighten that up here in a bit if we're still not feeling it. I guess I could also thin down this wash. There we go. Okay, there's that. Actually, we're going to hit this star in the front too. Kind of dirty that up a little bit. There we go. And up here as well. Trying not to let it pool on the surface here. There we go. Now that everything's dry up here, we can go through. And there we go. That's much more like it. There we go. Boom. Oh well. How long have I been doing this? Oh my goodness. I thought this was going to be like a 10-minute project. Oof. Well, okay. Well, we're committed to painting this, I guess, at the Good Nuf Painting level 2 instead of level 1. Oh, okay. Alrighty, so we got that done. We're going to grab some brown for these straps here. I'm going to grab my tea. So I lied. I went upstairs and I also got some Gatorade and a Dr. Pepper. Because I'm the drinky boy. I'm the boy who drinkies. Alright, so we were doing some brown on his utility belt thingy. Is it still called a utility belt if you're not Batman? These are the questions that implore answers. We're going to clean up our station here. Get the ink out of here. Get that. We're going to get rid of this dragon red. We're going to keep our base coats hanging around in case we need to clean anything up. But all of these shaders that we used. Get out of here. And we're going to do one of my favorite recipes for brown, which is just monster brown. And then we're going to cover it with a snakebite leather. And then dry brush with either Tyrant Skull or just an off-white. So get some monster brown here. We're going to thin that down. That's too thin, isn't it? No, it's not too bad, actually. Okay. What's cool with this really light brown is that with a couple layers, we'll be able to cover up any blue crossover that we have. But it's not so dark that we're going to end up, any like accent little hand thing isn't going to careen us off into oblivion and ruin the blue that we've already established elsewhere in the model. Oh, my neck is killing me today. Okay. He says that as he hunches over. All pain, no pain, no gain, guys. It isn't just for working out, it's for miniature painting. Fuck posture. I don't care if I look like a caveman when I'm 30, as long as I have some wonderful painted models to show for it. Okay. Okay. Get in here. I can't tell if those. See, this is my issue with the Fantasy Flights Crisis Protocol set is the details on these guys. Like, you add the tiniest bit of moisture to the model, or more than a singular or third layer of paint to something, and it's just you just have no idea what's going on. Which is why this is one of the ones that like I'm constantly referencing my reference photo here, as opposed to a lot of models where like I look at the reference photo, I'm like, oh yeah, cool, done, and I'm good to go. This one I'm like, is that a buckle or a sash? Which I know in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter too much, but and I'm not being super concerned about actually over painting a little bit here on the buckles because it doesn't really matter. We're going to cover them up in a very beautiful color in a second. Silver. Okay. See here. My YouTube, sorry everybody, my YouTube mix here went. It took a left turn, I'll just say that. Hey, this is not what I wanted. Okay. Alright, cool. And the reason that I'm starting with this really light brown, even though I know for a fact I want it to be a lot darker, is, again, not as big of a deal if I overpaint a little bit. And if there's any spots where I overpainted my blue, just a couple quick layers, and it's gone. Because it's very nice and highly pigmented Army Painter paint. And realistically, the only thing that I would have overpainted would have been the wash here. So keeping a nice firm tip on my brush. We're going through here. Okay. Okay. Kind of hate this brown. I'm so glad that I'm going to be covering it up here. But again, dealing with our shaky hands, we're making sure to always brace in like 3 or 4 different spots. So I got both my elbows on the table, my hands up against each other, and the only thing that's actually doing any brushing is just the barest tips of my fingers, and they really have to do some work to brush. It's one of the biggest things. Like a lot of the people that come to me and ask for painting services, especially if they aren't into the painting, is they talk about their super shaky hands, and I'm like, guys, I take a lot of amphetamines for an ADHD, and not like a college kid's trying to study, but like genuinely ADHD. It's debilitating at times, but so I am all over the place when it comes to how steady my hands are. So I hear you, but you know, get that Buddhist patience to really work with it, and to take, good days and bad days as they go. So I want his, screw it, I'll do this belt. I'll shade it a little bit differently, but we'll do his belt here as this, like this as well. No, I hate that. We're gonna do his belt in a darker brown. We're gonna go with the darker brown. It's gonna be oak brown. No, it's not. We're gonna use leather brown. Or I can just do his little satchels in leather brown. Alright, we'll try a satchel in leather brown first here. Ooh, there's no paint on that brush. But actually, I think I have yeah, it looks like I have a single bristle in the end of my brush here that's got a little bit of dry paint on the tip. So yeah, there we go. Got it. Re-establish tip. And using just the tip, just to see how it feels with the paint on our brush. We're going to actually just paint something here on the base first. Yeah, cool. So that's exactly what we're going for. Oh, that's a nice brown. And we're going to go through here and just do all his little Captain America bags. What do you guys think Captain America keeps in his little utility purses? He probably keeps Avengers, like those little Justice League of America membership cards for kids. He probably keeps Avengers honorary member cards, but he gives them out to like adults. You're an Avenger, son. That or like just giant like grocery lists of things. He's like, gotta make sure that I'm righteous with truth and justice. That's what's in these utility belts. Because when you have this much truth and justice, you kind of need a place to put it. And we almost got the base coat down on these. Yeah, I'm liking this. And this way we'll establish a slight difference in color from the belt to the from the strappy straps and the whatchamaffuckers. Arm vestments, whatever those are. I can't remember vestments, but I can't remember the word that I'm looking for. These overall straps. All right, cool. So, well, I guess we finished the base coat here. Oh yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. I can't tell if this is another bag or just part of the belt. That's just part of the belt. So we'll do this in this brown, the lighter one. Perfecto. Perfecto. And again, I don't know why I decided to go so ham on this model, given that I did a white undercoat on it a year and a half ago when I got it. I would have normally preferred to have reprimed this, but this has been pretty fun. Okay, give you guys a look at what I'm looking at here in just a second. And the idea is, hopefully, looking at them side by side, maybe not, but you'll be able to tell the difference between the two shades of brown. And I'm just kind of coating the top layer here with the lighter brown. Okay. Did I get all of the leather here? Right in here. And oh, okay. Kabow. Okay, so now I'll show you what we're looking at here. Oh, hey, Mike. Sorry, I didn't have my mic turned on. I mean, I didn't have my chat open up before. So here we are. We just base coated all that brown leather. And we're going to start adding our layers to it. Focus. My camera is having more trouble focusing tonight than I am. But yeah, so there we are right now with the shield all done, his cloth done, and we're going to work on that leather next. So Mike, how did you enjoy painting these models? I've been complaining about them a little bit. Is this tea going to be too hot? Yep. I'm going to open that and set it off to the side. Oh, hell. That's really hot. That hurt. Doesn't want to put our demo on the table after seeing this. Well, tell you what, you can just have these. Trade ya. I've had these for 2 years, and I was just kind of out of an idea of what I wanted to paint. I need a hoodie. It's too cold. So the things that I've been complaining about with this set is the moment you do anything to it, even filing down details on it, you just lose all semblance and of details on these Fantasy Flight figures. And when you go to start painting it, I have my reference photo up in front of me, right? And for the first time ever, I have to constantly look at that thing to be like, is that leather? Is that another satchel? Prime example would be like right here next to his belt buckle in the middle. He has what honestly could be like another secondary satchel or like these metal clippies that go onto his belt. And I'm like, I have no idea what this stuff is. And I'm going to level with everybody. There's just no way I'm going to do actual eyes on his face. I might get some white in there. Just looks off if you don't paint it in the box art. Yeah, so the creative freedom is not really there. Unless you're doing something like Iron Man, where it's just like metal dude in bright primary colors. You have like a little bit of freedom, but yeah, Captain America with the red, white, and blue. It's got all you got. And then you got, let's see. All right. Here's a sneak peek for our next video. It's a Bioshock diorama. I don't think the person that's for is going to watch this stream, so I'm just going to share that and then pull this out. Okay, so what do we got so far? We've got Captain Mark. So this is the stuff that I painted well over a year and a half ago, actually. I might go through and redo some of these guys, but we have a Red Skull. I got this guy done already. Camera. Just gotta focus in here, guys. You're making me look bad, Mr. Camera. So we got a Red Skull, and then I might work on this Hulk a little bit more. This essentially I was really happy with it, and then it got like 2 shades too dark for me in the front, so I'm really trying to bring that back up, but we might work on him a little bit. And then is anyone else in here actually done? Yeah. Baron Zemo is, but again, this is something that I painted a long time ago, so we might need to revisit some of these guys. But anyway, back to Captain America. We'll keep Red Skull over here to remind us who we're fighting. Okay, so base coat in the brown, Bosch, nailed it, done. And so I wanted the strap brown to be a little bit brighter than the other brown. His belt pouches. So we're gonna hit both of them with the contrast, snakebite leather, and then from there we will choose to bring one up a little bit higher. So I'm gonna grab a handy dandy contrast brush. Make sure it's nice and damp, and then I should probably put a glove on. And to be clear, I'm not putting a glove on because I want to preserve my artistic integrity as I touch the model. I'm keeping it on because I will just continue to paint all over myself. And let's be honest, I hate washing my hands. It's disgusting. I'll try it out. Okay. And there we go. It's okay if we overbrush just a tiny bit, as long as it's on the bottom side of our strap here. Because we'll add, actually we're trying to do that a little bit, to add a shadow underneath of our strap. Alrighty. Just being careful not to overbrush onto the blue there. Yeah, there we go. Kapow! Done. And then there we go. Take a short break. Crack out all the arthritis out of our hands. And go back to it. We'll add some good, clean, crisp lines onto those buckles here in a second. But right now, because we're going to be able to cover that up with a metallic, which will cut right through all of these. And again, the reason I hate undercoating in white is I already saw like a couple spots that I can't really go and touch up right now. It's fine. It's fine. All right. We'll deal. We'll move on. We'll move on. Over here. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab this as well. Boom. Now you can see where things are starting to come together, guys. Just add. Again, contrast paints really great for adding a filter or almost a lens to view the colors through. Boom. Okay. Got that done. We're going to go ahead and we're going to extend it onto these satchels here. And really trying to avoid pooling on the flatter areas. So we're just going to very lightly brush it over. Almost attempting to fight against the tendency of contrast paints. Because we're really not trying to have it pool up even in the recesses here. And then I'll bring this up here into the light where I can see it. Oh gosh. There's that. This. Okay, so the differentiation between the bag and the belt isn't quite as pronounced as I would like, but we're going to catch that in the next step. I hope. Not quite sure how. But I know I don't like it, so we're just going to keep fucking with it. And for under here, this is underneath the shield. I don't really care, guys. We're just going to hit it with the contrast straight out of the pot here. No undercoats or anything. Kapow! Rocked it. Alright, cool. So we're going to take a small break from detail stuff because I wasn't kidding. My arthritis is actually starting to hurt my hand a little bit, so we're just going to move on to something a little easier. We're going to add some detail onto, we're going to add the dry brush orange onto the gloves here. Gloves and his booties, and little booties. So I don't actually have like a good orange that I want to use this for. I guess dry rust maybe? Is this an effect paint? What do they mean effect? Is it going to actually rust on my model? I'm willing to take the chance. Or we can just go to one of my favorite go-tos, which is the Citadel Dry Rust. If we need to, we can tone down the dry rust with a like a dark tone or something. Get out of here, scissors. No one needs you right now. Alrighty, cool. Smash, 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 smash. Dry brush, dry brush, dry brush. Okay. Again, with dry brushing, trying to make sure that, because they're bringing out the details. So in my head, there's like kind of two reasons why you would dry brush. One is to bring out details, and the other is to simulate light or add a highlight if you aren't going to edge highlight something. So since we were doing the latter, we are honestly just trying to only hit it from one direction, which is above. Pow, pow, pow. Pow, pow, pow. Is there any more orange in there? Oh wow, yeah, there's so much more orange in there. Pow, 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 pow. All right, there we go. Now we have his little boots. Wow, that looks a lot more orange on camera. That's hilarious. There we go. That's a little bit more like it. All right. We'll give his little glovies the same treatment. Dry brush, shush, 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 shush. All right. Ah, it's a lot easier in the glove here. So this is the Citadel dry rust. Oh, yes. How much would I charge for this? So services at this level would be. I have to check my pricing. Normally, I just give someone a quote of like really, really low, so I'll do the job for them. Because I do commission services, but I'm a little bit slow right now. I still believe it's because people are in quarantine or at home and don't have enough stuff, or also I'm not good at advertising. So something like this would be, I don't know, let's say hero infantry, $10. No, that's not right. I would do elite infantry. So at this level, 683, and then the lower level, $5, which I'm gonna level with everyone for the most part. When I do lower level stuff, I just do it at the higher level either way. I don't really care. All right, back to the stream. So if you wanted to get the whole box done, it'd be like does math in head, like if you include the terrain and stuff, like $100 less. And again, that's without any discount. I don't think I've done a single commission where I haven't given someone at least like a 40% discount. For some reason, I made up, like whether they're a veteran or disabled, which is why we did Good Nuf Painting. That's why we only have the 2 levels too. There's plenty of places where you can go and get your stuff painted and win competitions locally for your art, but for someone else's art. But I'm more about just getting people models they can put on the table. Shield. We forgot the shield, guys. How's Captain America gonna go into battle without his orange on his shield? And we're just gonna hit the edge of the shield here. Pow. Okay, next up is face. We're gonna do some face stuff. Alrighty. And for the face, we're gonna use some barbarian flesh and our very, very tiny detail brush. Thin it down with a little bit of water there. And go at the face here. And his little ear. I can't even see his other ear right now. Just freehanding an ear onto what looks just like a solid black block of plastic right now. I might get out a scribing tool and just kind of carve in an ear here. If this continues to go as poorly as it is. Or we could just forego the ears and just do them in blue here. I know this will be like, this model doesn't have a lot of detail that we can just kind of ignore, but this might just be our only option for this part here. So I'll cover up this ear with some blue. We'll use this and we'll go ahead and add a layer onto these wings here. And we'll also tidy up this A a little bit. And we'll grab this other little wing. There we go. And then we're going to dry up our brush a little bit to clean that up. And we'll go over here to the blue again. We're just going to add a second layer onto that ear. Captain America has no ears. Alrighty. Ooh, I really want to paint League of Legends miniatures. I hope that there's a company that does that someday. Because that actually, so like in my playlist here, it's a League of Legends playlist, and the song like Got Jinxed just came on, and I'm like, ooh, that would be a fun line of models to paint. Okay, there we go. So there we go. So we got the face here, and you can see we've started to eliminate the ears because I don't feel like getting a scribing or some metal tools to re-sculpt that back in there. So we're just gonna make do without ears because it's already blocked off. And then we've started the face. So we're gonna add another color, another layer of this gray sear onto his wings here. Okay. We're also going to take this gray sear. We're going to add small edge highlight to parts of the star here in the center. Just along each rim. Ridge. Each ridge of the star. Stars don't have rims, you silly goose. Alright, cool. And then focus a little bit more here in the center along the top. Okay. Alrighty, now we're going to add some shiny bits. Those shiny bits are going to be in Let's do shining silver. It's been a while since I broke out the actual shining silver. Normally, I say that I want to build up to shining silver, and I end up just not. And I think I'm actually going to stick with my fine detail brush here. I'm going to grab this. The cool thing about this paint, it is metallic. So for those of you that are not miniature painters on my stream, it is got those mica flakes in it that gives that kind of metallic-y look to it, because there's actual bits of metal in there. And for you people that are painters on my stream complaining because I'm using metallic on my web palette, stop. These mica flakes are not that small, and I don't care. Everything is cooler metal. Alright, cool. And this is fast and easy. We're just going through. We're going to pick out all of these little buckles. And our paint's going to be too dry to use, so we actually going to paint. Come on. Amateur hour over here. Okay. Alrighty. Looks like I might have overpainted just a little bit there. That's fine. Go ahead and muddy that up. Ta-da. And then these back here. Do this big one down here first. Alrighty. I have a real big love-hate with Nulzur's minis. I love the amount of detail that they have on them. They're phenomenal. If you come in on a Friday, you will see the well, okay, not the beginning, because last week was the beginning, but I am painting every single monster in the monster manual. Right now we're on A, and hopefully we make it to B soon. We're going to do at least 2 a week. And a lot of them, because I spent the time and I went through the whole entirety of the monster manual, and I found what I'm going to do for every model. And a lot of them were Nulzurs, because I know exactly what I'm going to get. I'm going to get some slight warping on the models themselves, if they have any staffs or objects. I'm going to have terrible mold lines that I'm going to need to deal with. But in terms of details themselves, I love them. They're great. Here is the Anakarok right here. This one, like I said, we're going to have warping on that sphere. But outside of that, the detail in this model is just as good as GW model sculpts. Maybe a little bit less sharp, but that's probably because this is more of a bird. But they make good models. And then here you have, so here's a weird model. Yeah, some of the detail is just like slightly better on this guy, but this guy has just as good of a detail on him. But again, slight warping with the Nulzurs, it happens. And even after sanding it and trying to remove mold lines, I mean, Nulzurs minis, they have mold lines. It is what it is. Do I play D&D? I do play D&D. Currently, I am DMing a game, The Rime of the Frost Maiden. It's been a lot of fun. And every couple of Saturdays when I am free, well, we struggle to line up on the right day, but I'm part of a D&D group that plays on Saturdays, but I don't DM in that group. It's the first game ever where I'm playing a PC, which I'm absolutely loving. It's been a lot of fun. But no, oh yeah, the pre-primer, it's kind of the worst. So I don't think Nulzur's minis are worth the time and effort of stripping them. So I just reprime them. I've never really had too many issues with details. If I wanted something that had more details than the Nolzur's line, frankly, I should probably just go find a 72 millimeter scale model of what I'm looking for, or just go on Etsy and buy something that a 3D printer has printed off at a higher scale. I feel like so often we're stuck in this realm of 32 millimeter obsession where everything has to be the 32 millimeter scale, and all we do is push the envelope on that scale. When that scared the hell out of me. When if we were to just go up a level, or frankly, let's be honest, like lower our expectation just a tad, we'd have a lot more fun painting models. Uh, yeah, the pre-primer on there, I wish that they had the option to have them not pre-primed, if only because if you scratch it, because you have to remove all those mold lines and you're gonna have to work on the model itself, I end up scratching a lot of that primer off. So like, so how do I reprime them? I just prime them as if they hadn't been primed at all. I take them, I clean up their mold lines, and then I prime them in black. And I just pretend like it hasn't been primed. And yeah. Yes, in terms of quality, I'd say Reaper does have some of their stuff that's like a lot better, but Nolzur's just has like that super D&D line. I think that their ability to partner with Wizards of the Coast, they gave like a lot of really good what do you call it? They got a lot of really good ins, like with the whole line of every single character in every single race with all the classes. Really cool. But yeah, I haven't painted a lot of Reaper models. I know in my journey through the entirety of the Monster Manual, I have at least. Oh, this is done. I have at least some of them that are going to be Reaper Bones, so I'll get to try those. And I see them at Mavericks, but I always get shell shocked, and then I get anxious that people are staring at me when I go to a store, so I don't usually browse as much as I would like to. So a little glimpse into my soul there, everybody. I always panic when I'm going to a store itself. And I'm also always in that spot where like I want people to talk to me, but also like I don't want them to ask me what I want, because the reality is, between everything that I have right here and the other half of my basement, that is the other half of my hobby painting studio, I don't need anything else. So like, I'm never actually specifically looking for something. I'm looking for something neat. Chronoscope stuff. Chronoscope stuff. Well, now you've got me interested. I'm gonna Google chronoscope. Chronoscope. Did you mean colonoscopy? Gonna add the chronoscope miniature. I spelled something wrong here. Oh no, it auto-corrected to microscope. Chronoscope. Reaper miniatures. Oh, that's right. Their website's a fucking nightmare. Although, wait, I've never tried actually just going to their website and then searching chronoscope. Okay, there we go. Cyber Reavers. Space Goblin Commandos. Yeah, so these have the benefit of not being pre-primed, which is awesome. So you don't lose quite as many details. But yeah, the quality on these kinds of models is, I'd say, pretty close to Nolzur's. At a certain point, it does come down to dealer's choice, like you said, opinion. But yeah, the fact that they're not already primed is really helpful. And I've noticed with the few Reapers things that I have gotten, which I'm now remembering that I have gotten a couple, the scale has been a little, just like a little bit smaller than I would like. I think maybe it was because I got a small cat. If I'm being honest, it could be that. Crazy cat lady mini dude. Chronoscope though, I'll check it out. They are definitely goofy. And I have so many models. So like that shelf behind me, that is everything that I have that is either a commission that I'm working on or stuff that I've bought that I haven't quite gotten to painting yet. If I'm ever looking for something goofy for like, oh fuck me. I hate this. I hate these. I hate these so much. If I'm ever looking for something goofy to throw into a diorama or something, like I'm doing a Bioshock one right now, that might be something cool to throw in there. Alright, so here we go. We're going to add a little bit of this. We're going to give Captain America a 10. And now he's been given a 10. I might actually hit you up then. The heading there. I've always headed there like in the early afternoon because I work. My off days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So like I'm always struggling to hit places up in good times. I might try and go to that place closer to close. Although now 2 of my nights are like pretty hung up with the stream here. So I think at this point I could keep going and really push the highlights on Captain America's legs here, but this is for a skirmish game that I do not play, so we're going to move on and we're going to do his base now because I'm going to continue to paint this guy and just spend way too much time on it. Okay, so we're going to grab some Necromancer cloak, some ash gray, and dark stone. And what was the other thing I wanted to add? I'm gonna need this. No. Yeah, I'm gonna need that for the grate. So we're gonna add some base coats here on the sidewalk. Okay, we're gonna start off with our darkest coat here. That's gonna be dark stone. So you got crazy cat lady mini, dude. Crazy cat lady. You have to send a link to that one that you're talking about, because I do like cats. Okay, grab a base coating brush. And so here we're actually going to paint the sidewalk here. And, oh, definitely going to thin down this paint, because we're going to probably do a couple layers here. And thinned. Whoa. Work with me here, camera. Alrighty, so we're going to go around here. We're just going to paint a base coat of, what is this, dark stone? Yeah, dark stone. Across the whole base of the model here. And if we get, we're actually going to get the top of this room here as well. And I don't really care if it's a little bit thin. That's exactly what we're going for. We're mainly just trying to get rid of this white primer, because I just want to move on from this terrible mistake that I made at some point in my past. Okay. Alright, so there's the base coat down on the majority of the asphalt there. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw this down on the area that's going to be the grate. And this is bright bronze. No, we're not. We're going to do something else first. We're going to cover in this same color that we just used. We're going to get it in between section there. We're going to get down into the actual bronze. Those holes look great. Okay. Okay. Nice. And then we're going to use our bright browns. And from there, we're going to go ahead and paint up. Oh, that's still a little bit too wet. We'll use, I want the sidewalk to be a little bit brighter. So we're going to use the ash gray here as the base coat of the actual sidewalk. Yeah, I would encourage people to try out the Nolzur's line, as well as I would encourage people to try out all kinds of lines of miniatures. I've got a bad habit of once I find something I like, I'll just continue to buy it until, I don't know, happenstance has me change. So this whole big project I'm doing on the weekend, on the Friday night stream, has really forced me to open up my mind, as it were, and get creative as to where I'm going to get these models. Like I'm going to be 3D printing some of them. Some of the larger 3D printed ones I'm going to have 3D printed by somebody that has like a professional 3D printer on like Etsy or something. Professional, an Etsy 3D printer. I don't know how professional they are. Hopefully they're pretty professional. And then like a lot of them I'm picking up from local stores, because my eventual goal is to donate the entirety of the monster manual to a local store or a after school D&D program if I can find one that I actually like. And then just kind of, because I don't ever play D&D in person. I ain't got fucking time for that. I have so many other things to do. Is my tea cool enough to drink now? Ooh, not really. Okay, so we added the base coat there to the concrete, so it's a little bit lighter, and we're going to darken that, lighten that, and between the two of them, they'll come together to be a nice, good mixture of the two without, with it being obvious that they aren't exactly the same object. So like the difference between the asphalt and the sidewalk should be really obvious to see. And I want to paint this brass, but I'm going to start down here in a bronze and work my way to the brass. Otherwise, I won't really get a good color on this. So if I were to just try and put brass on something, it just doesn't, never had good luck with it. So I like to build up from bronze. Okay, here. I'm just gonna sit here and think about how cool it is that we actually have metallic paints for miniatures. I'm thinking again about those League of Legends miniatures and how much I really, really want to paint some of the champions from League of Legends. Like, I might go online after today's stream and see if I can find any good STL files of League of Legends miniatures. That would be pretty sick. Wow. Alright, 1 second, everybody. I'm having some issues with my audio. Okay. I think I should be on the right device right now. Yeah, okay. Good deal. My computer keeps auto shifting what it's inputting from, which is kind of irritating me. And since I don't have like an audio capture card, which I don't even know if that's a real thing, or like a video capture card, I know that is. I'm using OBS. I don't need either of those things. So I'm not complaining that I don't have them. I'm complaining about my ability to use them. They're not stupid proof. Alright, so now we're going to use the brass, the bronze. Do I have brass? I wanted to use brass. But this is actually bronze too. Well, okay, wow. Alright. Before I do that, I'm going to actually lift up that base layer there a little bit with some Samba Gray. We're going to just lift up the base coat of the concrete. The reason I'm doing this is because I know that I used it in all the other bases of the ones that I already painted, so I want to keep it as uniform as possible across the Crisis Protocol set. I'm thinking for these little tiny lights on this box, I might break out some of the other tools that I use and add lights to the lampposts. I think that would be pretty sick. Like actual lights inside of them that light up. Shouldn't be too hard. Alright, yeah, there we go. Trying to get a layer down that isn't super opaque. So I want it as uneven as possible because it's a road. I want it to be like a little bit uneven in color and scale. Not scale, saturation, so on and so forth. I want to try and keep this edge here a little bit crisper. Keep it crispy. What is that from? Tales of Arcadia. Boom. Alrighty, we're just going through. Do a base coat all over this base here. This was a fun project. I'm glad I decided not to do my Necron Warrior today. I shit you not, my hand is super shaky today. It's starting to hurt, so like I would not have had as good of a time doing that as I have this Captain America. It's been a lot of fun. But tomorrow, not tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow. I'm off work tomorrow. Tomorrow I might do some more of my Necron army. We'll see how I feel. I don't play 40k. I want to. I just don't. It's a time thing. When you work 4 10-hour shifts a week, and you choose to do stuff like this with your free time, what little free time you have, it's hard to get other games in, to be honest. So like I'd have to go by my Necron Codex because every army has its own rules. I'm not wanting to do the thing I did last edition of Warhammer where I had 4 armies, 4 codexes, and I played in 3 tournaments, and that was it. Alright, so next we're going to add the bronze on here. We're going to add the bronze on top of this. But not quite all the way around. We're going to use this bronze just here in the middle of these sections. Just add a little bit of variation in the corners here. There we go. Okay, now for this one up here, we're just going to straight up hit with a color, which is going to be, let's use Basilicarium Gray. Basilicanum Gray. I think we might uniformly filter this and the other part of the base here. We'll see how this looks. There we go. This will just bring out all the little cracks in the cement there. Along the side here. Careful not to let it pull too much, but we do want a little bit of pulling. But if we do get it, it's fine. We want it right along the edge there. And we'll get down in here as well. Alrighty, and I'm digging that, so we're just going to go ahead and continue it all over the base here. You can see all these details that we had that had previously been almost invisible to the naked eye start to come out with a pop of color as the wash does its thing. And it goes down. It fills in all these recesses. Alrighty. Okay. Now we're going to dry off our brush a little bit. We're going to go ahead here, and I'm going to get under the light because I can't actually see as well as you guys can under that other light. I'm going to go ahead and fix some of these pooling areas. Just adding a little bit and taking away a little bit plus some. There we go. Okay, we are almost done here. Actually, we're going to have to pause on that because that wash needs to dry. So, in the meantime, I lied yet again because I'm a big old liar. We are going to move on to our Necron Warrior here. So, I have a jungle theme for my Necrons that I've been wanting to try out. So, what I want to do is I want to continue that on this guy. So we're gonna use some. I want it to be blue. Actually, I have no idea what color I want to paint this guy. We'll find out what happens. Brass goes here. I got that blue already on there. Could use that. See, do I like this? Yeah. I do like that. Actually, I don't. Get back. Where's the dry brush? That's a relatively dry brush. We're just gonna get rid of that. Are you not attached to your base? That's what's happening there. Okay. I think this is kind of why I stopped painting my Necrons. I just didn't know what I wanted to do with them. Do I like this more? I do like this more. Okay. So this is some gore grunts of fur over top of what I'm guessing is just a base coat of lead belcher. I primed these quite some time ago. Alright, and then we're going to add some riser rust across a big portion of this model here. Oh, that's way too much. That's way too much. Shit. And this is just a quick paint scheme. So for those of you that don't play Warhammer 40,000, this warrior, this troop thing right here, so unlike a game like this, where you might only have maybe half a dozen people in your army, or in your side of the battlefield, this is one of what would probably be anywhere between the 20 to 40 of a model. So there's going to be a lot of this guy. So that's why we're just busting out something real quick here. I say that, but I know that my plans for the rest of this is not quick, simple, or easy, so take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so we got them all rusted up. I need his gun to be green. No, in my head it was gold, so we're gonna make his gun gold. but we're going to need to age up the gold just a little bit. So we're going to add the base coat of gold first. And then we will fuck it up. So I think my gun can actually be done later, but I'm just going to add some so I remember what I'm doing. We're just going to add the first layer down here. Or was it brown that I wanted to do it? Which did I like better? Oh, I like the brown better. So, ignore that gold. Get out of here, gold. We're going to cover you up. The brown. There's a reason that I'm not doing a super great job being very careful with this, and you guys will all see it here in about 10 minutes, and maybe 5. That's because this part doesn't really matter that much. Okay. Okay, so there's that. And then that's that. Okay, cool. Now we're going to get green, which is going to be this warp lightning. We're going to grab this. We're going to grab a brush here. We're going to pick out some random spots here and we're going to make them green. Preferably spots that haven't been rusted too much. So maybe under there. There, along the back of the spine here. Legs. Arms. Shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes? Oh, okay. Get some over here. Top of the hand. Side of his face. Down there. On the chest. Over here on this arm too. Wow, that's a lot of grain. Oops. Okay. That's fine. And then hair edge. Cool. So now we've got some green all over the place here. Let's do some along the tip here. The front of his leg there. Let's do his feet as well. And the front of this leg. Continue that all the way inside. Alrighty, so pretty much everywhere that hasn't gotten covered with a heavy layer of rust is going to get covered in this grain. It'd be really mean if I showed you guys like this horribly painted model, and then I was like, hey, tune in next week, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Alright, I'll be right back. So what we did next, and actually done with all my painting stuff for the moment. So I'm going to kind of tidy up my workstation again. But we got a bunch of flock shit. And alright, so I'm not using paint right now. Captain America, I didn't forget about you. We're going to get back to you. As soon as you clean up your fucking act and dry out. Alright. Boom. I don't need that. Actually, I might need that. So yeah, I don't paint Warhammer models except for when I'm being paid to, for the most part. Like, I have some armies from years ago when I first started mini painting. But I'd say since like 8th edition, I bought a Tau army and started painting it. Same with the Drukhari one, and then my basement flooded. And then everything kind of went to shit. They got put in storage, and I never really got around to painting them. And since then, I just haven't had anyone really to play with, because I was one of those people that always got other people into games. So like, it's hard to get people like just into Warhammer. It's a very expensive thing. I don't need. I do need this actually. Cool, but there is our Necron warrior right now. He's looking a little bit odd, but he's gonna get there. You'll see. You'll see. I need shitty brushes, so I'm gonna grab this one and this one. Oh, and this one. And we got our 1-to-1 mix of PVA glue and water, some scenic cement. I need my other thing. Okay. My streaming software may have cut out there for a second, so sorry about that, everybody. Okay. I think we're back. Yeah, we should be back. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some of this 1-to-1 mix. We're gonna put it in here. And we're basically gonna go to everywhere where we put that green, and we're going to be covering it in some flock. And this is my mix tin, so whenever I'm doing projects and I end up doing multiple layers of stuff, I always end up with just stuff in the bottom of my siphon jar or whatever it is. So this is just all that. It's like I'll have like weird chunks of stuff. And unfortunately, I'm out of vines, so normally I would also wrap a vine or something around him, and I make those. It's like a 4-step process, and I'm not going through all those steps while on a stream. And then we have this, which is clump foliage. So it doesn't go on super well with PVA glue, but as you can see, it kind of tears apart in clumps. And if I'm going to use this, which I'm not sure about yet, it's usually on bigger things, and that I just attach with some super glue. Alright, so I got my brushes a little bit wet now, and we'll start putting some glue on this fucker. And we will, of course, be doing all of our work inside of a container. So, yeah. I'm going to grab this right here, and we're just going to start glomping some glue on and around the areas that were green. And I suspect that my 1-to-1 mixture may have been more heavily on the one of water than glue, so we'll see how well stuff adheres on this model. But quickly, before everything dries up, we're just going to give him a coat in this scenic not scenic glue. Yeah, the scenic glue is to seal the model when we are done. Actually, that came in Amazon today, so I'm very excited I get to use it. I think that was part of the reason why I wanted to get to this guy. Okay, so I think I got all the areas that we painted with a little splash of green. I'm going to go through again. And the reason we base coat them in green is so that if something is showing through, you definitely can't really tell. Cool. And then we're just going to grab this. We're just going to sprinkle this over it. Really coat them. Now I may need to actually add some flock to this. But now we have a guy that looks like this. Like he just woke up from a jungle nap. And again, I will need to make some vines to go over this model. Oh, well. So we're going to tap off the excess. I will need to make some vines to go over and around. I usually like to wrap one big vine or maybe two small vines around them. And then the gun we're going to do, to contrast that, we're going to do in the Necron Tesseract Glow. Ooh, I also forgot. Shit, I'll do it on the next one. I also wanted to dry brush and heal on grain before I added the moss. Oh well, it happens, but I'll make mistakes. So we're actually done with this for now. And since I was just doing one in the stream, I'll probably do the others in bulk later because this is a lot of stuff to get out for one individual model. I ended up not using this. I never end up using all the stuff that I go and grab for these little adventures over the other side. And again, I did make a promise that one day I would make it so that we could all go on these adventures together, and I did not forget. But that's a lot harder than I thought it would be, so I gotta figure that out. Okay. So I'm done with all of these. What's the one I actually used? Was it this one? Yeah. This can just go back in there. And we're gonna grab this brush here. Get it damp. And we're going to paint our gun here. If anyone knows where to get them, please send me a link. I've seen some posts on Facebook and other groups of Vallejo that sells a product that's basically as bright as this Tesseract Glow, but it is in other colors, so like blue. And I would do dirty things to a homeless man to find this in blue, because this is so cool in just green. There's that. And then, man, I'm really upset I didn't do that Hellion Green because I was really going to make a lot of this pop. I'm not going back. I'm not going to undo what I did. So we're just going to move on. Damn it. It's fine. Looks pretty good. It was a good proof of concept, and it was a good way to show you guys kind of just how I bust out jungle Necrons. So that's done, and then we're going to grab some scenic cement. I've never used this before, but hopefully it works as advertised. And I can just use it to kind of seal in some of these areas. Ooh, fancy cap. Okay. So we're just going to go around. We're just going to let this soak up into all of our little mossy sections. The easiest way to use products like this, it's not the way I just did it first. You don't want to actually drip it on there. At least not when you're doing models, like I just did again there. Oh my god. Bear with me, it's my first time. I've used stuff like this before, is you want to get a tiny little bead on the end of your, what do you call it, pipette here, and just let the bead get soaked up into whatever it is. Actually, for something like this, you don't even really have to squeeze. Okay. So this will dry clear. Right now it looks like a bunch of gunky messes, but it's fine. It'll dry much better. Oh wow, I think I might have set a new record for one of my live streams today. I had 4 people watching. Yay! That's so exciting, guys. Thank you so much. 4 whole people. Thank you. That means so much. I really appreciate that. You know, when I first started doing this, I figured I might get like my wife and maybe my best friend to watch these, and I did it first, and now I got other people joining me, so thank you. And then, of course, you know, you got mom and dad, but I think mom and dad probably went to bed by now. And this isn't anything I'm ever going to try and do. I'm never going to monetize the YouTube channel, or at least I have no plans to do so. I'm not going to switch to Twitch or anything to get a better following. I just wanted to do this to share some of my hobby stuff with people and to do maybe a little bit of side advertising for Good Nuf Painting, because things have been real slow right now, and it's in by no means any kind of income for me. But if you know anybody that struggles to get their models painted or isn't happy with the work that they do, and they'd be happy with the work that I do, please send them to me and I will make a price work for them. I promise you. I'm really passionate about doing things for the people, and this is a phenomenal way to do that. All right, so cool. He looks like that now, but once this glue dries, all clear and whatnot, it will look a lot better, and you can see. And I'll do the base as well, and I might make a vine later tonight. But I'll post a picture of him up in the Discord for Mavericks, for you, Mr. Mike, and on my Instagram for everybody else as well. You wanted to give it a look-see there. But there's that done, and last thing we need to do is lighten up, get Captain America to lighten up a little bit. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to grab a dry brush, dry brush, and we're going to grab, let's use ash gray. Ash gray there. Oh no, my music. I would love to continue watching YouTube. And while it's still bone dry, we're going to grab some on there, and we're going to smush. And brushy brush. And shoop. There we go. And the key with something like this is we're doing everything we can to not be uniform. There we go. Getting there. Almost done. The only thing left is to dry brush the, what do you call it? The fucking sidewalk. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to add a couple little schmooks of white into our gray there. Gonna mix it all together. And then smush. And then we're going to dry brush onto this here top thing. Ta-da! So pretty. And then last thing for the whole model is we're going to take some of this oiled earth wash, and we're going to smear it on top of the great here. Just kind of randomly. And we're going to add a little bit of it just kind of around the base of the model here. And this will dry a little bit clearer, so it won't be quite as pronounced. And we're going to focus most of this in the areas where we didn't focus the brightest parts of the dry brush, so I wanted to do it a little bit random. And there we go. All right, so super productive hobby session all. Okay, yeah, so I've never used this product before, but it is wet. Oh my god. This may take a while to dry. But I will say, I do really love it. Scenic cement. If you do anything involving flock, pick some of this up because this stuff is on there now. I'm very happy. No more messing around with like Gorilla Glue, hobby spray, or anything like that. Like it's just drip some of that on there. Done, dusted. Next week, not quite sure what I want to do yet. I'm gonna probably paint a couple more of these Marvel Crisis Protocol suits, guys. So I might keep those as a Wednesday thing. Do one of those and something from a Warhammer army until there's something else to do. Maybe next week we'll batch out some more of those Necrons and we'll have the Hylian green in there. But until then, thank you so very much. It's Good Nuf Painting. Again, the fact that anyone is willing to sit here with me and hear me ramble mostly to myself about painting things is absolutely just a treat. And I just want to say that I really appreciate it. I have a lot of confidence issues, and especially when it comes to my hobbying here, and you guys all are all stars in my book. So that's it for this happy part of today's programming. I'm going to log off here, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. Thank you. I can't end the stream. Okay, where's the button? End stream, please.